Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really interesting proposal that aims to tackle one of India's biggest challenges, public safety. And the solution we're going to talk about? Well, it's not some crazy futuristic tech. It's actually a super simple, sturdy kiosk. So let's break down how one single button could potentially make a huge difference.
All right, so here's how we're going to walk through this. First, we've got to understand just how big this problem is. Then we'll look at why the systems we have now just aren't cutting it. After that, we'll introduce this new emergency kiosk idea, get into the nitty-gritty of how it works, and finally, we'll see why its supporters are calling it a smart, low-cost solution.
Okay, let's just start with one number, a really big one, 6.24 million. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how many serious crimes, what are officially called cognizable crimes, were reported in India in 2023. You know, a number that big is kind of hard to wrap your head around, so it really needs some context to understand what it actually means.
So, to put that into perspective, it breaks down to roughly one crime being reported every 5 seconds. Yeah, every 5 seconds. That means in the time it took for you to just process that last number, another crime was probably reported somewhere in the country. This isn't just a statistic, you guys. It's like a constant ticking clock.
And look, this is not some new problem that just popped up. If you look at the data, specifically for crimes against women, you can see this steady, upward trend. It's gone from over 405,000 cases back in 2019 to almost 450,000 in 2023. It's a clear signal that this is an urgent, growing challenge that really needs a fresh approach.
So, there you have it. We've laid out the scale of the challenge. The numbers are pretty sobering, and they point to one thing, a clear, urgent need for something new when it comes to public safety.
And that brings up a really obvious question, right? If the problem is this big, why haven't the solutions we already have been, well, enough? Let's take a look at the gaps in our current safety nets.
Let's break down the two main systems we rely on right now. First, you've got phone-based SOS. And think about it. In a real panic, that can fail for so many reasons. Maybe you're too scared, maybe there's no network, your battery's dead, or you just can't unlock your phone fast enough. Then on the other side, you have CCTV cameras. And they're great, but they're a passive system. They record what happens, which is fantastic for an investigation later, but they can't actually raise an alarm or stop something from happening in real time.
And that right there, that's the crucial gap. The problem isn't that we don't have any technology. It's that we're missing a very specific kind of technology. We're talking about a simple, physical, single-touch alert system that anyone can use, anywhere, without fumbling for a phone.
Okay, so this is where things shift. We've talked about the problem, now let's talk about the solution. To fill that very specific gap, this proposal introduces something called the Smart Social Safety Kiosk, or SSSK for short.
So what exactly is it? At its core, it's a public panic button system. But the proposal uses this really interesting phrase to describe it, an automated field intelligence agent. What does that mean? It means that unlike a passive camera that just watches, this thing is designed to be an active player in an emergency. It's built to gather and send vital info, like right away.
All right, let's pop the hood and see what's inside. The tech is actually pretty straightforward, which is part of the point. The main feature is a big, can't miss it, SOS panic button. The second you press it, a whole sequence kicks off. An automatic camera starts recording. It grabs the exact GPS location and it fires off an instant alert to ERSS 112, which is India's national emergency number, and to the local police.
Okay, so we know what's in the box, but let's walk through a real-life scenario. What happens, step by step, when someone actually needs to use one of these? How does one simple press of a button get the police on their way?
The whole process is designed to be incredibly fast and simple. All it takes is one press. That's it. That one single action sets off a whole chain of events automatically. The camera snaps photos, the data gets sent, and the police are dispatched. The entire goal here is to shrink that response time from what could be several minutes all the way down to just seconds.
But of course, with any public panic button, there's a huge question. What about pranks and false alarms? And this is where the design is actually pretty clever. The proposal uses this really cool analogy. It calls it an animal trap-style camera. The whole idea is that the camera instantly captures the face of whoever presses the button. And that simple fact acts as a really powerful, built-in deterrent against misuse. Most people aren't going to pull a prank if they know their picture is being taken and sent to the police, right?
So the tech is simple, the process is fast. But the big question remains, is this actually practical?
Can you roll this out on a national scale? Let's dig into the cost, the potential impact, and the feasibility to see why proponents are calling this a rational, logical solution.
You see, the potential impact here isn't just about one single thing. It's designed to work on 4 different levels. First, just having these visible kiosks around could deter crime from happening in the first place. Second, it obviously makes reporting way faster. Third, it provides instant, clear evidence for investigations. And maybe most importantly, it could actually help interrupt a crime in progress, not just help solve it after the damage is done. And this isn't just theory. The proposal actually puts a number on that potential impact. We're talking about an estimated reduction of 5 to 15% in crimes that happen in public spaces, specifically in the areas where these kiosks are installed.
So what's the price tag for that kind of impact? Well, according to the proposal, the cost to manufacture and install one of these kiosks is about 1,25,000 rupees.
Now, a number like 1,25,000 rupees might sound like a lot or a little depending on your perspective. And that's where the proposal makes its most powerful point with this single quote. For the price of one flyover, India can protect millions. Wow. That one line just completely reframes the conversation, right? It shifts it from being about a simple cost to being about a high-impact social investment.
And a huge piece of this rational solution argument comes down to efficiency. The key is, this isn't about building some brand new, massive system from scratch. The SSK is designed to be plug and play. It taps right into the national infrastructure that India has already built, the ERSS 112 emergency network, the state police command centers, even existing smart city and telecom networks. And there's a clear plan for how to scale this up over time. The proposal lays out a multi-phase national rollout. You'd start with a pilot program in the big metro cities, then expand to smaller cities and tourist hotspots. And the long-term goal? Full national coverage in about 5 years or so.
So, there you have it. We went from a truly massive crime statistic all the way down to a single red button. And that's really the heart of the smart social safety kiosk proposal. It's a bet that a simple solution, using infrastructure we already have, can make our public spaces safer. And it kind of leaves you with a final thought to chew on, doesn't it? In a world filled with such complex problems, maybe, just maybe, the simplest solution can be the most powerful one.